Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? This is your man, Big B, Brien Hanley. Welcome back to Big 12 Insiders. The college football coaches poll, the preseason coaches poll is out. It's wild, but there's some predictability to it on a lot of fronts. We're going to go over all of that today and kind of give you my thoughts on basically why I think it's still a sham and a debacle. But before we get into that, again, I appreciate everybody here. Thank you as always. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. So, as you guys know, I'm not the greatest at putting technology up there, but here's the poll. It's the best I can do, people. I apologize. It's the best I can do. But you look there, you got Texas at number 1, Ohio State 2, on down the line. I mean, basically the breakdown, you've got, of course, your customary SEC's got 9 teams in there. Big 12's got 6, Big 10 has 6. Big 12 has 5, 3 ACC, Notre Dame, and a group of 5, Boise State at number 25. Excuse me. Now, I've got some issues. I mean, at the top, you kind of know who was going to be there. It is what it is. And I don't mean just number 1. I mean, in the top 10, you knew those teams are going to be there. That's just what they're going to put, people. It just is what it is. You can fight it. You can do whatever you want, but it is what it is. Let's go look at this from a Big 12 standpoint. As far as Arizona State is concerned, at least we have a team starting out at number 11. Okay? So, in years past, or what I thought, they may put a team in the Big 12 at like 17 through 20. And it makes it so much harder to be able to get more respect throughout the conference if, you don't have anybody ranked high early. Now, I'm not saying 11 is high, but at least it's 11. Sometimes beggars can be choosers. So we got to look at it from that aspect. But there's the rankings right there. Now, here's where my problem comes in, is that you look at 2 teams in the Big 10, Illinois and Michigan. We'll start with Michigan. Michigan, and it becomes more difficult with transfer portal and all that stuff as far as ranking teams. But Michigan last year wasn't very good. They were an average football team. And I think anybody that watched college football or watched them play, you could understand they were an average, at best, football team. Now, I know the argument. Well, they beat Ohio State. Yes, they did. It's a rivalry game. They absolutely beat Ohio State. I give it to them. They deserve credit. But you go and you start looking at their schedule, and you start breaking it down, they got pummeled by some teams, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, you just start looking at the first loss. Texas went to Michigan and blew their doors off. That was one. They go to Washington, whipped. Illinois whips them. Oregon whips them. Indiana beats them. So, I mean, you're looking at 5 losses. And if you want to throw the bowl game in there, great. They were 8-5. This is a 7-5 football team. They were not very good. You start looking at transfer portal classes, if that's how you want to try to justify that. They were 10th. And you look at their recruiting class, okay. I mean, it's Michigan. But to start out where they started out, and you look at Michigan at number 14, that's a little rich for my blood, ladies and gentlemen. That's a little rich for my blood. 14, 7-5, not a great team obviously from a year ago, but you're telling me that's the number 14 ranked team in the country? Okay. Now let's look at Illinois. Illinois, it could be worse because you start looking at them, and first of all, their team last year. Okay. You look at what they did, and they won some games. They won some games. They did. You got to give Illinois credit, But you start looking at the quality of victories outside of the bowl game, but we know how bowl games work. Guys opt out, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is. And South Carolina was a decent team, but their whole team wasn't there, but it is what it is. But you start looking at Illinois' victories. They beat, in the non-con, they beat nobody. Kansas, terrible. Okay. Then you start looking in the conference. Their best win, literally their best win all season long, was a 7-5 Michigan. Like, that's their best win. You start counting them down. Nebraska, Purdue, there's Michigan, Michigan State, Rutgers, and Northwestern. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the best wins, or all the wins, I should say, unless you want, again, Eastern Illinois, Kansas, and Central Michigan. Those are the wins from Illinois. Now, again, if you want to say, you know what, B, but what about their transfer portal class? You know, great. Number 42. Number 42. And this is why I think it's BS, people, because you start looking at teams within the Big 12 and, I don't know, I'll just throw Texas Tech out there. You start looking at Texas Tech and you look what they did last year and the games that they won or the games that they lost. Colorado, TCU, Baylor, Washington State. Decent football teams. Decent football teams. But the one thing that I would say, and why I think this is BS, is because if Texas Tech, who had the number one transfer portal class, if that's Illinois, if you flip-flop that, what are we saying here? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand how you could say that, or better yet, there's no way in hell that if Texas Tech had the same record as Michigan, and if you gave them the number one transfer portal class, there's no way in hell they'd be the number 14 ranked team in the country. Texas Tech had a better year than Michigan, had the number one transfer portal class in the country, and Texas Tech is number 24. That's what I'm talking about. Literally. And they bring a lot back. Texas Tech brings a lot back, including a quarterback. I'm just throwing it out there, ladies and gentlemen. Now, some might say, well, Michigan's better than Tech. Based on what? Tell me, just based on what? Not results on the field, but that's where I have a problem. Those are the two big ones where I have a problem: Illinois and Michigan. I look at the Big 12. I think they did the Big 12, like I said, they did it a service by putting Arizona State as high as it did, but then also a disservice because I think they just threw all the Big 12 teams together at the bottom. Oh, you know what? We got to give them some teams. So we'll put K-State at 20, Iowa State, at 22, or tied actually at 21. We'll put BYU at 23 and Tech at 24. We'll just throw them in there, and then they can't complain. That's where I have my problem. And I feel like they just did that and just threw it out there so people couldn't complain. What? Okay, fine. But the bottom line is you still got to win football games. I can bitch and moan and cry all I want. It doesn't matter. Football's right around the corner, and you got to go win football games. Again, I will reiterate. Putting Arizona State at 11 helps. Now, Arizona State's got to live up to its end of the bargain. It can't go the way of Oklahoma State and Utah last year. That can't happen. We can't have that flip upside down on its head because they will hold it against the conference. We saw them do it last year. They will do it again. So Big 12 teams got to win. I know that's a lot of pressure on Arizona State, but it seems like they're up for it. If you're as good as what a lot of us think that you are, go win. Go win. But that's basically my bottom line on this. Again, non-SEC teams. What are we talking about? I mean, I can argue and complain. It's the same thing every single year. So I'm just not going to waste my breath. I could break down teams, and I could tell you who, like A&M. A&M is going to lose 4 games this year. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. But somehow they're one of the best 25 in the country to start the year. Just whatever. Whatever. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. So either way, I think this is a good opportunity for the Big 12. Got a little respect, got a little disrespected, but that's okay. That's okay. Now it's time to fight. Now it's time to get in there and do the work. It's time to get in to do the work. So appreciate you guys, man, indulging me on this one today. We will be back soon. Talk to you later.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.